Good morning, everyone. I apologize for my voice a little bit. It's a little scratchy today. Gotta love the up and down weather here in Central Florida. So I woke up, picked up my phone, looked at the markets, and wow. When I saw Bitcoin down $92,000 today, I said, wait a minute, what's going on? No, I didn't. I've been used to this cycle and the trends for a decade now. I've seen Bitcoin rally 30% in one single day. I've seen it come crashing down 40% in one single day. These are just the normal cycles that we go through. Again, people are used to seeing the stock market trends where, you've got money in a stock, it might go up 5%, and that's a pretty steep jump. If a stock market, individual stock or the actual market came down 5%, you'd hear panic. It'd be frontline news all over every station you could possibly imagine. When Bitcoin moves more than 5%, it's pretty much a small blip. Now, the reason I'm bringing it up this morning is, number one, of course, it's to just make sure that any new investors are not panicking by what they see, right? The OGs, for example, we've been doing this a long time. We understand the market. It's not a thing to be hesitant around. In fact, it's just like I tell people all the time, buy the dip, right? Now, that's a term we bring up a lot in this industry, especially with crypto. And it's not always easy for everybody to do, right? If everyone just had a stockpile of cash laying around waiting for all these dips to constantly retrace, and they just could flood in more money all the time, well, that'd be great. We'd all be making a ton of money, but that's not the reality, right? The reality is people who are investing in crypto, they're doing it for the long term. They're doing it to make some money, which I understand completely. But at the end of the day, they're putting in what they can. And, we're sitting here a week before Christmas. Everyone's a little bit strained. There's not this excess of cash just waiting to be put in for a lot of folks. So when you wake up and you see this, it can feel a little frustrating. It's kind of like walking into Best Buy and seeing that new Xbox or whatever on sale, and you've really been wanting it. You could not afford it when it was $400. Now all of a sudden it's $250, and you still don't have the $250. That's frustrating. It's frustrating because it's an incredible bargain. It's a great deal. But what do? Right? You either move on with your day and just understand that just now is not the right time, and that's okay. Or you find a way to get it done, find a way to get that cash and to get that thing that you've always wanted. Bitcoin is one of those assets that I keep telling everybody to make sure you have some of it. Make sure you are an owner of it. It is not like other cryptos. Some crypto, the majority of it, is a buy and sell. You're going to buy it, you're going to hold it a while, you're going to sell it, you're going to cash out, you're going to take your profit. Some crypto is the long game, right? Crypto that we're going to buy, we're going to hold for 5 years or longer at a minimum. That is Bitcoin. So the money you want to put into Bitcoin is stuff that you do not want to touch, if at all possible. Money you're putting into Ethereum, Ethereum's going to go up over time just as Bitcoin will, but inevitably, I think a lot of other cryptos people are investing in are not the long game, with a few exceptions, right? I do say that because XRP has an insane amount of utility attached to it. So I could easily see XRP exponentially moving up in the future, right? We've covered this on other videos. But today I'm just focusing on Bitcoin because, again, Bitcoin is what drives the markets of all crypto. When it comes down, everything comes down. But it's not always equal. If Bitcoin tumbles 10% or 15%, you may see the altcoins or the meme coins drop 20, 30, 40% or more. It's just the continuality of how Bitcoin is in judging the market, because more people who are invested in meme coins have more fear. They typically go in heavy into these coins with hopes that it's going to make them a millionaire overnight. Then all of a sudden it starts to crash down and they feel panic. They panic sell. The reason that Bitcoin, even with large swings, is typically not a panic sell is because people like myself, we've been doing this a long time. We're early investors in Bitcoin. we're still in the profit no matter what it goes down to. It could drop to $50,000 and I still would not panic. In fact, I'd be probably taking a loan from my bank to buy more. Now, on the channel, you've heard me talk about certain individuals that we tend to follow and pay attention to because their voice just holds weight. And it doesn't mean that their voice can sway the markets, but I think they've historically been accurate in describing where we are in Bitcoin cycles. I think they've been very accurate in explaining the trends that we're going to see across, we'll call it human behavior, right? When people get in, when people get out, why they do what they do. Human behavior, a lot of us have greed. Greed, they say it's one of the 7 deadly sins, but greed is what drives a lot of human behavior in investing. Now, Raoul Pal is a very savvy investor, multi-millionaire. He's one of the, we'll call it funding backers of SUI, S-U-I, right, which is another cryptocurrency on the rise. A lot of smart people are building that platform up, so I'm sure it's going to be around for a while. But I use his name and I bring him up consistently because he has a podcast called The Journeyman, and he's very ingrained in Bitcoin. He follows a lot of other markets, but Bitcoin is one that he focuses heavily on in his talking points. He does a monthly video update. And one of the more recent ones, he's talking about what he calls the banana zone. The banana zone, if you think about the curvature of a banana, it's not a straight up, right? It's got a little bit of just a natural curve to it. And if you were to take a banana and hold it straight up, if you look at the charts and look at the picture that we're showing on the screen, he references this as these are the moves of Bitcoin when we enter the parabolic phase 4. Phase 4 is the final cycle of Bitcoin, which happens every 4 years. It goes through a parabolic shift, and this is where we typically see that 2x, potentially 3x move or more. Now, this cycle could be different because we've already had significant moves prior to us entering this bull market. If you look at where Bitcoin was early, like January of this year, it was a very steady increase because we had the Bitcoin ETFs come out. We had a lot of good news come out. Then you get Trump elected. Now you've got a potential strategic reserve of Bitcoin. So much good positive news has already started the rally of Bitcoin early. That does not mean we're not going to see parabolic moves, but I would say it's actually going from about a $50, $60, or even a $70,000 Bitcoin. I think that's actually the base. And now we're going to see a parabolic shift from there. So the inflation of the Bitcoin that we've seen to, $90,000, $100,000, $108,000 just a few days ago, I think that's just like the pregame, right? That's the warm-up cycle. It's already just lifted off a little bit off that ground, but now it's ready to explode. And if we look at all the charts, we look at all of our history, what does it tell us? It tells us that the week after Christmas is one of the strongest markets in the week, strongest weeks in the market. It shows us that historically this is now the phase 4 of Bitcoin throughout its cycle, and we should see a strong parabolic move up and up and up for the next 3, 4, 5, or even 6 months. Now, what should we be watching? Just as today, and you wake up and see the news that Bitcoin has dropped nearly $14,000 in a day, that's going to happen. It's not going to go up like a linear rocket ship, like a SpaceX straight up into orbit. You are going to see retracements, and that has to happen. It has to happen because, again, people are greedy. There are people who are investing and betting on the market. There are people who are putting in money and they're taking a bet that Bitcoin is going to have a pullback like this. But when it does, this also liquidates people who are betting it's going to go up. You and I might be just traditional investors. We buy Bitcoin, we hold it. We know in the future, maybe we sell some to take some profit, but we're holding it for the long term. There are many people who are day trading this, right? They are buying it and selling it same day. So some people are hoping it's going to go up in a single day. Some people are betting and hoping it's going to go down in a single day. And those changes, those investments, fluctuate the market every single day. So all of a sudden you see what Bitcoin drops $10,000 in a day. Is that because panic hit the industry? Is that because of some news just released? No. It could absolutely be a lot of people were betting against the market and they just had gotten wiped out when Bitcoin went up, or vice versa when Bitcoin goes down. So there's a lot of different things, of course, variables. Jerome Powell's news the other day on the economy was not very well received. It was a mediocre attempt to tell us that we just borderline are away from supreme inflation. He's basically telling us that the market's doing okay and the economy is okay. But that really wasn't news that anyone wanted to hear. I think most of us understand that. We know that the market's not doing very well. Most people are suffering overall. So it was a kind of a half-hearted approach of trying to be positive, but you could read it on his face. The news about him saying that the Fed will not stockpile a Bitcoin reserve, that's really nothing that any of us expected to hear differently from him, because in all honesty, the Fed does not have the right to buy Bitcoin. We already know that. But that's why it's a hopeful legal matter that will be pushed through, and it will be something that our government will be allowed to do. But he is technically correct. Today, they could not do that. They could not hold Bitcoin. But this is a bill that Senator Loomis is looking to pass with Trump. Most likely it is going to have a winning proposal. So anyways, here's a short clip from Raoul Pal talking about the banana zone, kind of the zones to expect. Again, forgive me for my voice today. It's a little off. Enjoy the video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. Not everyone wants to just listen to me ramble about different talking points. Again, I've been in this for a very long time, but by no means am I an expert just like everyone else. We learn as we go. But I like to give relevant information to all of you to educate yourself and to make the best decisions. I am not a licensed financial advisor, just been in the industry a very, very long time, and I'd love to help as many people as I can. So stay tuned, enjoy the rest of the video, and have a wonderful day.
Okay, so while Peter's just reframing that for you, so this is the chart you're all worried about. You're like, oh my God, we're all going to die. I mentioned this on Twitter. You're over-indexing on the fact that liquidity is going to draw and it will bring price down. Are we having it now? I don't know. I don't think so. I think we actually have another push into year end because this chart suggests that it actually goes into year end, but I'm not expecting perfection. So maybe this is the drawdown, but it looks terrifying on the chart. But we've seen all of this before, and let me show you. So here's Bitcoin. Last time Trump came in, it rallied into the end of the year and then corrected 27%. And then it just went up, and alts outperformed because alt season happened. Now, that was driven by exactly the same factors. Trump getting in, dollar went up, tariffs, oh my God, and rates went up. Oh my God, tariffs are inflationary. What happened as soon as Trump got in is he said, we don't want a strong dollar, and rightly so. I think they'll say that again. And the dollar weakened and rates went down for the entire next year. Even though the Fed were raising rates in 2027, the long end was going down in yield. That setup is likely to happen again. So we're getting into this perfect setup that whatever the correction is, things will rally. Now, it was Bitcoin that had the bigger sell-off. Other things like ETH sold off less and then rallied back in that period. So we don't know what happens. Let's zoom in here on the chart of Bitcoin. There it is, the Trump victory, this rally in Bitcoin, the correction, and then it did 23x. Yeah, 23x. Are we going to do 23x? Absolutely not. Are we going to do 5x from here? I don't know, probably. You know, my base case is 250 worse, 500 plus in a blow off top market. Who knows what we get, but 2017 feels like it's the best play so far, and I'll reassess the odds. So anybody wants to clip this off and says Raoul Pal claims it's going to 500,000 plus is a fucking liar. I don't work that way. I use probabilistic frameworks, and all of those people who try and do gotchas, I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of all of these people like Don, what's his name? Fucking Fred Krueger. Like every time I mention a meme coin, it's like Raoul Pal says everybody should buy all their meme coins and speculate. You all know I've given you the don't fuck this up thesis, which it says that all of the stupid shit outside the top 5 tokens should amount to less than 10% of your portfolio. So listen, if you see that kind of bad behavior online, I do appreciate it if you just tell them to fuck off and, well, no, actually politely correct them and to say that's not true. That is not what Raoul says. Like, I'm not saying it's going to 500,000. I have a probabilistic framework. I think it's possible, but I don't think it's the most likely thing. So, each time we've had these kind of transitions into the new government, we have this breakout, and that should continue higher. Don't see why this can't go 200,000 plus. I mean, it would look pretty basic on this chart, even if we have a law of diminishing returns in the Bitcoin cycle. So for me, it feels good. If I look at the global M2, which is another way of measuring liquidity, look, every time we get to election year, you have this tightening of liquidity. We had it in 2016, and then 17 it expanded. We saw it in 2020, then it expanded, and now we've got it again. It kind of retests the breakout and keeps going. Global liquidity is actually driven by the dollar. So it is going to be about the dollar, and things can change, and I could be wrong. So the dollar is the main thing. The dollar last time, it's been following the 2017 election cycle really well, 2016, 17, and it should say this last leg in the dollar, next few days and stuff, should be the end of the dollar rally, and then that will ease up global M2. We know the Chinese have to start stimulating, but they can't do it with the dollar so strong because they don't want to weaken their currency too much. So they need the US in the game. Everybody knows the game. They all understand the game. It's just a matter of timing. So be patient. We've got the liquidity of the Treasury General account coming and the reverse repo and the end of QT. That's all coming. We've got potentially and hopefully a weaker dollar. That's to come. We should see rates come lower because expectations now for only 2 rate rises, rate cuts, all of next year. Well, anything that produces weaker data will produce more rate cuts. So we've got a perfect storm coming up, and that's the banana zone thesis. Is this the start of the big correction, or is this a quick shakeout so you people can't hold on to your coins into year end when we get a rally? I mean, the last 2 election cycles, we finished the end of the year with a big rally. I don't see why this is different. So I'd be careful, not of the market correction. We should expect that. Part of don't fuck this up is expect 30% corrections frequently. But please don't think about, well, I need to hedge this, close my tokens, buy them lower, blah, 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 blah. You should be prepared to accept the volatility because that's what gives you the gains. If not, you might well be chasing it into year end. By the time you chase it all get long, into, let's say, January 6th, then the market reverses. Just don't get involved in that. Your job is to hold, to own your tokens, don't trade, don't use leverage, just do nothing. Just have a wry smile on your face, drink a fine glass of Bollinger Rosé, roast your own pumpkin seeds, and laugh at the madness of Twitter and the complete emotional cycle. And again, we've all got all of our money tied up in this. I am the same as you. I don't want to fuck this up. I don't want you to fuck this up. I want to take us all in the best way I can over the next 5 years. And these years are the important ones. So just lock in, focus. Let's see what other charts I want to show you from this. There's a lot of stuff about blah, 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 bond yields falling, financial conditions going up. Business cycle about to improve. That's fully fed. ISM versus fully fed tells you the business cycle is about to pick up massively. It won't be inflationary, but we should start to see the business cycle pick up. That's going to be good for all of us. It means we're going to make a bit more money in our businesses. We're going to start to feel a little bit more at ease. We'll be able to invest more money. We'll be able to do stuff like that. But the key thing is when the ISM picks up, it drives the ETH Bitcoin cross. The ETH Bitcoin cross has been a beautiful pattern where we've been, this is a little bit out of date, it's pulled back a tad, but it's still the same. It's like, this is a fucking wedge pattern. Now, does it break to new all-time highs? I kind of think it might do, but even if it doesn't, it's a big range, big sloppy range. It means that ETH is at the low end of its range, and it'll probably get back to the high end of its range, and it remains stable in its relationship versus Bitcoin. I think that is to come, and that's driven by the business cycle driving risk taking across assets. But when we come into that, the business cycle going up is the key trigger for altcoin season. And why is that? Again, what we need is more disposable income to invest. And what we all do is we want to go out the risk curves and make as much money as possible in the shortest period of time. That is the world we live in because we are so fucked. We're so fucked because of how high housing prices are, the cost of goods and food, how restaurants. I was in New York City. It was $330 on my own for dinner at a fancy-ish French restaurant, not like a 3-star Michelin. It's insane out there. So we have to make a lot of money. I get it. I get it. I get that things are a lot more expensive for many of us, or for all of us. And the only way of getting ahead is speculating. I get it. So I want to help you speculate intelligently. And altcoin season is there. That doesn't mean go way out the risk curve. But here's the total market cap of crypto, excluding the top 10. So this is really alts. It does this every time. It has this consolidation wedge pattern, breakout higher. We've just started breaking out. So have patience, hold on. And, it'll also get rid of many of our sins, the stupid shit you've got in your portfolio. I think it will help with that too. So that lies ahead. The Bitcoin, this ridiculously over colorful chart that Julian puts together. If you've got color blindness, this is utterly useless for you. But basically, all it's saying is usually the full pattern is very strong. The only reason the full pattern was not strong in 2021, and this is really important, I'm going to say this again. 2021 is not the roadmap. What happened in 2021, because of the violence of the downside in 2020, the upside was equally violent in the business cycle. And the ISM peaked in March of 2021. Right now, we're still below 50. There is no fucking chance the business cycle peaks. And none of our indicators suggest anything that this crypto market is anywhere near overbought. This is our Z-score indicator, whatever the fuck that means. It's Julian Bittle. He's smarter than me. Well, he thinks he is, because he can use long words and things like Z-scores, which I don't really know. But anyway, basically, we're not overbought at all. We're nowhere near any of this. Our GMI cycle top indicator, again, you do get this in Real Vision Plus as part of the MIT tool occasionally, and also in Pro Macro. We're nowhere there. We're nowhere there. So we are in this perfect position where we just keep following this roadmap. This is all I need. This is all anybody needs. You don't need any of the rest of the charts. You don't even need to log on to Twitter. You don't need to do anything, but just use this. Use this one chart of Bitcoin in its log regression channel and suggest it probably goes to 2 standard deviations overbought. What is that? Well, that's kind of north of 500,000. So maybe it goes to 1 standard deviation. That's about 300,000. That looks pretty reasonable to me. That's what every fucking NASDAQ stock has done since 2012. So it's not like some special magic property of Bitcoin. No, it's Metcalfe's law. Amazon has done this. Microsoft has done this. Apple has done this. Tesla has done this. Meta has done this. It's all the same. So I'm not asking a lot here. I'm just saying it just continued to be adopted as a technology and everything continues to go. And in the end, what we're all waiting for is this little puppy, the banana zone. The banana zone has started, and we barely started. And you freaking out, this stupid, oh my God, it's going to correct 20%. Look at Raoul's chart of liquidity. That's this. if you can see it, in 2017. That's this in 2021. In 2013, we didn't even get that. We got sideways. So if we get a bit of a correction here, doesn't make any difference. Or you're better off just going outside, touching grass, spending time with your family over Christmas, drinking a little too much Bollinger Rosé, learning how to toast your own snacks. Yeah. Everything else is just fucking noise. In the end, we're here for one thing and one thing only. I'm trying to help you understand that you can unfuck your future with a banana. All you have to do is not fuck this up. I'm trying my best. I won't get everything right. I'm sure you'll hate me at some point and you'll love me at other points. I'm doing my best for you. We're all in this together. I'm in this with you. And we'll navigate it the best we can. At Real Vision, we've got the best fucking team available to do it with you.